Welcome back to the Bad Influence Podcast, Relationship Wednesday, where we tell you the truth about relationships. I am the bad influence that you need in your life, Jordan Banderas. Ladies and gentlemen, let's cut right to the chase. Suppose you're hiding parts of your past from your partner. In that case, I'm here to tell you it's only a matter of time before that secrecy rips a hole in your relationship. And today, we're tackling the taboo subject of coming clean and how that honesty might just set you free no matter how scary. Look, it's tempting to sweep that messy chapter of your life under the rug. It truly is. You tell yourself it's ancient history or that your partner couldn't handle the real you. But here's the truth. Transparency is the lifeblood of genuine intimacy. Without it, you're trying to build a future on quicksand. And in this episode, we'll lay out why opening up about your past is crucial, the mistakes that can derail the whole thing, and the steps to handle it like a pro. And don't worry, I'm not here to judge. I really am not. Because this is something that happened with me, and I've seen, and I keep seeing, people do this same shit. The only difference between them and me is that I came clean to my wife. And it made our relationship stronger. And the other people, they're no longer in a relationship. So here's the thing. I've had my own skeletons, and let's just say my wife and I wouldn't be as strong if I'd stayed silent. So if you're out there biting your nails, wondering how much to reveal and when to do it, stick around. We're about to dive deep into emotional truths that can transform your bond from shaky to unbreakable. But let's start with the elephant in the room, trust. Trust isn't built solely on sweet words and Friday date nights. No, it flourishes when you're willing to show the darker corners of your life and still feel safe. If your partner can see your real self, what kind of foundation are you building? Or you're afraid? Afraid of what? Judgment, rejection, maybe the terror that your partner will look at you differently? Guess what? They might. But better to face an honest reaction than crafting an illusion that will inevitably crack. Because that's what's going to happen. So many relationships, and because one partner says, I never really knew you. If you keep dodging transparency, you risk fueling misunderstandings and resentment. Over time, tiny cracks of suspicion turn into massive rifts. It happens. So yeah, this conversation is urgent because nothing kills love faster than a shaky foundation of half-truths. There was a time when I had a past I wasn't exactly proud of. Old habits, missteps, baggage from how I was raised. I thought, if my wife knows all of this, she'll think less of me. I mean, who wants to shine a spotlight on their bad decisions? Nobody. Absolutely no one, right? But life has a funny way of cornering you. I realized that hiding my story was forcing me to keep one foot out the door of my own marriage. My wife deserved better. More importantly, I deserved the chance to be fully known and still accepted. When I finally opened up, I won't lie, it was terrifying. Watching her facial expressions shift as I laid out my mistakes and insecurities made my heart pound. But her response was all I needed. She saw I wasn't playing around. She realized I never navigated a serious relationship before, and that vulnerability sparked deeper empathy in her. That moment changed everything. She didn't run, she leaned in. And I discovered that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the doorway to a more authentic, unbreakable bond. This made me wonder why transparency suddenly became a non-negotiable for me. First off, honesty diffuses the ticking time bomb of secrets. You might think you can outrun your history, but secrets have a nasty habit of surfacing at the worst moments. They truly do, huh? Better to control the narrative yourself than let it blindside your partner. I think that's the greatest thing that you can do for your partner. Second, when you open up, you're telling your partner, I believe we're strong enough to handle this together. That message alone can deepen emotional intimacy overnight. It's like a giant neon sign that screams, I trust you with the real me. Third, it fosters respect. No one expects you to be perfect. They expect you to be genuine. And let's face it, a partner who steps up with honesty, even about ugly stuff, commands more respect than someone who cowers in the shadows. It truly does. It truly does. And finally, a relationship anchored in truth just feels lighter. It truly does. I can tell you that it truly does because I have nothing to hide. I dropped that bag of secrets a long time ago. So no more dodging questions or nursing that knot in your stomach, wondering if today's the day they find out. Now, traumatic experiences, financial blunders, or that time you crossed a moral line, these can feel like landmines. Infidelity or a history of substance abuse, even trickier. They come loaded with guilt, shame, and the fear you'll be labeled unredeemable. Maybe you grew up in a toxic environment and now you worry it's left scars. You're afraid your partner will see through that lens forever. Or perhaps you have an ex whose memory lingers and you're dreading those tough questions about loyalty. Well, here's the deal. A partner who genuinely cares about you should be able to handle your truth. If they can't, it speaks volumes about their capacity for empathy. Yes, it might sting at first, but real love withstands honesty better than it does secrets. Still feeling overwhelmed? Craft a game plan for when and how to drop those emotional truth bombs so you don't end up causing more harm than good, because it can happen. And if you want to do this, well, first ask yourself, does this piece of history affect the trust compatibility or future of our relationship? That's a good question. If it can alter the course of your life together, it's probably worth sharing. Otherwise, oversharing irrelevant details might do more harm than good. Second, get crystal clear on your why. Are you confessing to purge guilt, or do you genuinely want a deeper bond? Self-awareness matters. If you just want to unload guilt, you risk blindsiding your partner. Because you're going to be like, you know what? Before you, I had 100 partners. I've seen people do that. Just literally it's like, here's my past. Deal with it. And typically the other person is like, what? Like, I wasn't expecting that. I've seen it. I've never done that, but I've seen it. So if you aim to build closeness, you'll approach it more thoughtfully. Third, rehearse if needed. Yes, I know. I did say it. Rehearse. Sometimes you have to literally prepare yourself to what you're going to say. And if you don't know how, Talk to a therapist or a trusted friend, making sure you're solid about what you're going to say. Confidence in your delivery shows you're committed to openness, not fishing for pity. And finally, choose the right setting. No one wants to have a heart-to-heart in a crowded restaurant because a lot of people do this, or while racing out the door to work. Again, people do this, and I've seen the damage. So make it private, calm, and free from distractions. Tackle the nuts and bolts of navigating that conversation. Start by kicking it off with a clear intent. You can say something like, I value our connection and I want to share something important because I respect you. Imagine if your partner says that to you. You're going to be like, wow. You're going to be more open to receiving that kind of information. At least that's me and that's my wife. And this sets the tone that this isn't a casual confession. It's a pledge of sincerity. When you spill your story, focus on relevance. Don't drag out every humiliating detail if it doesn't serve the bigger picture. Emphasize what changed, how you've grown, and why you're different now. Give your partner room to absorb, ask questions, and respond. Stay present. If they get upset, let them feel that emotion. Don't rush to fix it, to defend it, or trivialize the reaction. Acknowledge their pain or shock, reiterating your commitment to working through it together. And if they need time, respect that. That's the best thing that you can do for your partner after you give them your truth. Give them time. Some people just want to get everything done in 5 minutes, and then they're like, okay, well, I don't like your response, so we're done. No, respect their time. Give them time, because transparency doesn't guarantee instant forgiveness or understanding. I don't know where people get that. But it does pave a way for genuine healing. So consider your partner's perspective, because they may have their own history of betrayal or wounds that color how they see your confession. So be mindful of their triggers. If they shut down, it might not be about you. It could be their old trauma rearing its head. So don't expect them to instantly say, all good, let's move on, because that rarely happens. And here's the thing. Genuine empathy means giving them space to process. They might have follow-up questions. They might need reassurance. They might even need professional help to navigate their feelings after your confession. Also, watch for signs they're holding back something too. Transparency is a two-way street. By sharing, you invite them to open up. That mutual vulnerability can spark a brand new level of intimacy if you both handle it with care. That leads us to the million-dollar question. How do we integrate this new honesty into daily life so it doesn't become a one-time confession that still lingers unspoken in the background? Consistency is your secret weapon. Transparency isn't just a single conversation. It's an ongoing attitude. Show through your actions that you've evolved. Be patient as your partner reconciles the old info with the new person you are today. Focus on small gestures that reinforce trust. Regular check-ins, full honesty about where you've been and how you're feeling, and open invitations for them to share their side. Over time, these micro-actions stitch up the wounds that might have been opened. And if conflicts does arise, because it likely will, address it head on. Remember, your past doesn't define you. It's how you show up that matters. With each transparent moment, you're writing a new chapter, proving that real intimacy is worth the occasional heartbreak of vulnerability. Look, Coming clean about your past takes guts, but nothing kills a relationship faster than fear-based secrecy. You want a love that lasts? Build it on raw honesty and a willingness to tackle the messy stuff. If you're at that threshold, do yourself a favor. Put on your brave face, plan the time, set the tone, and just do it. The relief you'll feel and the respect you'll earn are game changing. Remember, not everyone will handle your truth with grace. No, that's a given. If they can't, that's their limitation, not yours. The right person will see your vulnerability as a sign of strength, a sign that you value them enough to be genuine. And that's it for today. Share this episode with anyone teetering on the edge of revealing a secret. Let's help people see that honesty isn't the villain, it's the hero that saves relationships from silent destruction. This is the Bad Influence Podcast, and I'm your host, Jordan Banderas, urging you to lay your cards on the table and let true love see you. All of you. Because that, my friends, is how we move from shallow connections to soul-deep partnerships that stand the test of time. Go forth, be real, and let's make some noise. The choice is yours.